Okay, with the pre-Legion patch finally being officially confirmed for the 19th of July, we need to turn our attention to add-ons. Now, you've probably got a lot of add-ons in your folder, or maybe you haven't got very many and you're starting to look for what add-ons you might want if you may be stepping it up a bit in Legion. Well, my add-ons folder is going to be quite full. The thing I'm going to recommend is a complete slash and burn. A lot of them are just simply not going to work in Legion. The ones you're downloading right now, even if you update them today, they still won't work for Legion. There are ones available at the moment that will work for Legion. They're just not going to work with WoD. So it's just before perhaps you log off for the last time before this thing goes live. Empty out your add-ons folder. If you don't want to destroy them, just move the folder somewhere else. Just make sure you've got an empty add-ons folder. Then what you need to do is to find these add-ons, the ones that are going to work for Legion. Now, the way to do this, the easiest way to do this is to Google, when you're looking for the add-ons, just put in Legion at the end of them. Make sure that it says that it is going to work for Legion. At the moment, if you're on the PTR, you can test it in the PTR to make sure it is going to work. Now, for this particular video, I'm going to be looking at Tell Me When. A few people have been asking me on the various videos, oh, can you share your WeakAura string with me? I don't use WeakAuras. I use something called Tell Me When. It can look very similar. It's not actually, in theory, as good as WeakAuras. It's just a lot easier to use, and it means you don't have to learn some of the intricacies of WeakAuras. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how I have set up my Tell Me When on the PTR, which sort of mirrors how I'm going to set it up when the pre-Legion patch goes live. So first of all, to get Tell Me When, just type something like this in Curse Add-ons. Tell Me When is what I've typed in. Click on that. Now what we notice here is that this is the one for Warlords of Draenor 6.2.2. This is not the Legion one. But if we scroll down, it says click here to download Legion version. They've not sort of put it up here yet. As far as I know, it probably will be very, very shortly. So we want the most up-to-date one, we assume. So we'll click on that one. Okay, so when you first open up Tell Me When, you'll get something a bit like that. We don't need that. What we are going to want, though, is I'm going to want more than 4 icons. I'm going to want more than that many bars. So click on Group. Now, the other thing is I only want, these bars are going to be very ret specific. I don't want them showing up when I'm in my other specs. So I'm going to get rid of anything that's not ret. Excuse me, or DPS. I'm going to I'm going to click only show in combat, which means the bar should only appear in combat. There is a way of manually doing that with each individual one if there's some you want in combat and some not. I'll show you that later. And let's put 6 rows on this one. I'll say okay. Now I don't want them that big. I just want them big enough to be able to see. I don't want them getting in my way or anything. So I'll put it down like that. I'm going to create another one as well. So I'm going to click on Group again. And I want a new profile group. Again, it's the same thing. This is going to be ret specific. So I'll get rid of all of those. I'm going to have these going down the side. So I'm going to change columns to 1 and rows to 4. Just for now. Again, only showing combat. Click OK. And I'm going to reduce those down to a sensible size as well. Now this isn't how I'm going to have my UI set up normally, so the actual placement will sort of vary a little bit, just making sure they're not in the way of my character. I'm using the standard UI here because, you know, a number of people will be using this. Obviously adapt it to your own UI. Oops, let's bring it back now. /TMW to toggle it back or not. Now let's start off by just doing some simple ones. I'm going to use these down here to let me know when certain abilities are available. So I'm just going to click on spell cooldown because these are just to tell me when spells are available. And the first one is going to be Avenging Wrath. Oops, let's spell it correctly, shall we? click on that one, get rid of that, don't want that. Now, as it's set up by default, opacity and colour, 100% when it's ready, hidden when it's not ready. Well, I don't want it hidden when it's not ready. I want to still see it, but maybe, you know, not full opacity, so about 50%. Show timer text. Because what I want to be able to see is, I want to see how long it has remaining. I want to see when it's almost ready. Now in conditions, I shouldn't have to set any conditions like this, because I've already said that this bar should only show in combat. But if I had a bar where I wanted some things to show even outside of combat and some in combat, I could set a condition, and that would be unit attributes, unit in combat, and by clicking on that, that's what that would do, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to click OK. And let me just show you how this should work then. So we're in combat. It's showing that this is available. If I use it, it's showing the reduced number of charges there. Now let's set up a few more. Wait to get out of combat. We can't set these up when we're in combat. TMW. Right, the next one I'm going to set up is Shield of Vengeance, which is a defensive stroke offensive, really. And I'm going to do the same deal here. Allow for global cooldown. I think this one might be on the global cooldown. Press OK. The next one I'm going to do spell cooldown, Divine Shield. This is my defensive. Same thing, it doesn't have to be exactly 50, it can be whatever you want. Okay. And is there anything else I want to put on here? Oh, Blessed of Protection, of course. Hold it down. Blessed of Protection, let's hope it's that top one. I'll check that later. Now, I'm going to mention about where you get multiple spell IDs for what appears to be the same spell in the next one. But for now, let's just set those up. So, these are all showing as available at the moment. If I use Divine Shield, you can see the opacity is reduced there. And it's going to show a little... Okay. It's not actually showing the text of when it's ready. That's a bit... I'm going to come back to that later then. Something's changed with this. I've clicked to show the text, it's not doing. So I'll puzzle about that and come back to that. Never mind for that for the moment. Right, now, in terms of setting up my abilities for a priority. Now, the add-on I normally use to show priorities in a fast-paced spec like this is Hakili, but I'm not sure that that's ready for Legion at the moment. So I'm going to set up my own on here. The advantage of Hakili is you get you can do what I'm going to have to do in multiple things, probably even more than 6 in fact, within 2 or 3, and it just cycles around. Weak auras you can do the same sort of thing. But I don't use weak auras, so I've never bothered to learn how. But if you can use weak auras or get weak auras off someone else. The disadvantage of getting weak auras off someone else is when something changes, you're reliant on being able to chase those people up and ask for their new weak auras and all the rest of it. You don't have very much control over it unless you learn to use it yourself. Tell me when it's very easy. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click Spell Cooldown. Now the spell I'm interested in is Crusader Strike. Now, there's a number of Crusader Strikes here. They all have different spell IDs. Now, if you have LVUI, which I'll just show you here, in LVUI, you can actually get the spell IDs by just hovering over the spells, which will save an awful lot of time. But like on the standard Blizzard UI, you don't have it, so we'll just have to click now. The one that was showing up on that one was this one here. So I'm going to hope this is going to work. I'm not bothered about it showing up at all when it's not available, so I'm just going to leave that for now. Although I am going to click that just so I can have the global cooldown showing, so that I don't try and activate it when I can't remove the global cooldown. Now, stack requirements 2. I only want it showing when there's 2 stacks. I'm going to click OK. Now let's see if this is going to work first of all. Right, okay, so when it's on 2 stacks it's showing. If I click it off so it's on 1 stack, it's not showing, so that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. Aha, why, you may ask? Well, you'll find out in a minute. Right, the next one in the priority is going to be various Blades of Justice. Now, I'm actually doing this for the first time, so I just want to check on something here. Blade of Justice. This time I do want it showing when it's not available. It's on a longer cooldown, that's why. So click OK. And then the next one is going to be Crusader Strike again. But this time there is again a stack requirement. Minimum of 1, but also maximum of 1. I only want it showing when there's 1. I'll put that to show the global cooldown. Don't show that again, I don't need that again. Right, let's see how well this works then. Blade of Justice, then click that one, it's not showing. But I've got another charge up again. Okay, then Blade of Justice. So you're getting the general idea. If I set this up so that I'm clicking whatever is on the extreme left, then it's sort of working there. Right, let's carry on doing some things here. So let's say I want my next priority to be Templar's Verdict, which is my spender, Holy Power spender. Doesn't have a timer, but we're on the global cooldown again. Blade of Justice generates 2 Holy Power, but it only will generate 1 if we've got 4 Holy Power, say. So what I would say is, ideally, I don't want to use this when I've got 4 Holy Power, or especially I don't want to use it when I've got 5 Holy Power. So I'm going to put some conditionals into these builders rather, so that I don't use them when I've got Holy Power. So I'm going to put resources here, Holy Power. I'm only to use it when I've got less than or equal to 3 Holy Power. And the same with these builders. Holy Power, less than or equal to, in this case, 4, because, you know, they only generate 1. And the same with this. Conditions, Holy Power, less than or equal to 4. Okay, so let's try this out now. So Crusader Strike first, Blade of Justice, Crusader Strike, Templar's Verdict. Actually, I think that Templar's Verdict's showing up even when I can't use it. Let's fix that. Power check. That should sort that out. When it's out of power, I don't want it showing at all. Right, let's try that again. Right, it's now just showing when I've got enough Holy Power to spend it. So, whoop. Now, of course, at this point, I could think to myself, oh, actually, there's sort of a higher priority ability through most of the fight. Oh no, I need that over on the extreme left. What on earth do I do? Well, what we do at this point is just to move it, all we do is left click and drag, I think. Oh no, sorry, let's have a look. It tells me onto here what to do. Is it shift? Do I do shift? Oh no. Oh, hold on, right click and drag, sorry. Move here. Move here. Move here. And move here. Because in actual fact, my top priority spell, apart from maybe at the very start of the fight, is Judgment. So I'm going to click on that. I am going to want to know when that is available. Time, global cooldown. Okay, now at this point I want to do something else as well, which I'm just going to create another group. New profile. It's again going to be a ret specific one, and again one I only want showing in combat. And we'll keep this on 4. I'm going to just put this above here. I'm actually just going to move these down a bit. I'm going to show procs on this. Now the first proc I want to show is the Judgment debuff. So if I click on, for example, it's this debuff showing there. Now again, if I had L view, I'd be able to see the spell ID. I'll put that up for you anyway, but I'm just going to have a little look for it here. So this one, it's not a spell cooldown. This is a buff or debuff check. Okay, and the debuff I want to check is Judgment. Let's just hope it's the top one. But the player to watch is not, sorry, the target to watch is not the player, it's my target. So click on target. It's a debuff, not a buff. So click on that. Only cast by me. There may be multiple paladins in the raid. I'm only interested when it's cast by me. It says any absent. No, we want it showing when it's present. Okay, we want a timer with timer text. Again, I'm going to muddle over why the timer text isn't showing in a bit. Now, here's something we could do. I'm not sure I'm going to keep this on, but just to show you something else that Tell Me One can do. Notifications. So we're going to add a notification sound. So what we could say is the judgment window is quite important. We shouldn't be using spenders when the judgment window isn't available. So maybe we give ourselves an audio cue when the judgment debuff drops off our target. So what I could do is on opacity decrease. Now then, let's have a look. What sound do we want? Yeah, we don't want that. Oh, rubber ducky. Yeah, we'll do that. Right, so rubber ducky. That sounds fine. In terms of this, then, what it means is when it's absent, we're going to have some opacity. I'm going to have it very, very faint when it's not up. Right, let's just try this. So, judgment window showing there, which means I can do my spenders. They'll generate. Now let's listen when it fades. Little rubber ducky sound when it fades. Okay, and it's very, very faint. I've got it there because I wanted the opacity decrease. So yeah, rubber ducky sounding when it drops off. It's sort of telling me if I was thinking of using a Templar's Verdict just then, maybe just hold off until I can hit judgment again. Okay, now another proc we'll want setting up. Do I set it up over? I'll set it up over here. And again, it's another buff debuff check. And it's Divine Purpose. If we take Divine Purpose, which is what we will be doing, certainly in the pre-patch. This is a player this time. This is a buff, only cast by me still. But we don't want it when it's absent. We want it when it's present. Showtime and showtime of text. It's important to know when it's going to be about to fade. Now here's where was something we can show. Custom texture. This is where we get it to show whatever icon we like. When Divine Purpose procs, I am likely to take Justicar's Vengeance, and that's the spell I want to use on it. Of course, I need to use my own common sense. If there's loads of mobs, I'd use it on Divine Storm, for example. But I'm going to have it showing the Justicar's Vengeance symbol. So let's just check. I haven't actually got Divine Purpose enabled at the moment. So Divine Purpose, and let's just wait for a... Wait for a proc. The rubber ducky sound just went off there. See it sort of in action here. If you find it a bit disconcerting with the Crusader Strikes just popping up, then this is really annoying. This one getting in Divine Purpose box. If you find it a bit disconcerting, then by all means set a lower opacity for when it's out of action. These ones. Come on, Ash. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Divine Purpose is proc. It's also shown me how long I've got left on it, so I can leave. I can still build for a little bit, and then make sure I use it before my next spender and before the next thing arrives there. Okay, right. Another little bar I'm just going to set up now, and the last little one, and then hopefully you'd be able to set up your own from there. Let's have a look now. Where am I? Sorry, I'm messing about. Okay, so I want to create a new group again. Now, this time, I'm going to have it for all roles, because this is going to be a bar that I'm going to use for my stun and interrupt. So I'm okay with this being there for all of them. But I'm only going to have 2 for now in it. So that's all I need. I'm just going to have that over there. Right, the first one is, again, a spell cooldown. It's for Rebuke, my interrupt. Again, I want to see when it's going to come off cooldown. There are no conditionals for that, so that's all good. Away. And the next one is for Hammer of Justice, which is my stun. Actually, I've just thought about something. I will show you another one while I'm here, but for now, just set that up, so then that one should be fine. What I'm just going to do, I'm going to click on group. I'm just going to give it an extra one, an extra column there. Going to move those along. I'm going to set up here, because it's in that sort of crowd control area, Repentance. Now this is a talent, so I don't have it at the moment. Now if I just did that, it's not showing because I don't actually have the ability at all. Just wait for it to fade. Oops. Okay, but if I then took that talent. Okay. Then again, it's showing that I have that. If I interrupt, for example, it's showing that. If I stun, it's showing that. If I can't use repentance on the training dummy. Never mind. But again, you can see it's showing you the cooldown on it. Now, another little thing. While I'm here, we might as well show the proc chance of. Let's have a look at what it actual spells. I've got my Libram Vindication trinket. So Focus of Vengeance is what we want to track next. I'll just show you something else this can be used for. So it's a buff, debuff check. Focus of Vengeance, which is this. Completely the opposite. We only want to show it when it's present. Only cast by me on the player as always. Timer text, all the usual stuff. Now, as a condition, I only want it showing when a particular item is equipped. And the item is Libram Vindication because it's a proc that works only with that trinket. Okay? And the reason for that is because I'm also going to put a notification on it. Because when it drops on opacity decrease, I want it making a sound. Let's go with that. Okay. Right, so we've got that. Now let's say I stop using Crusader Strike for a minute, so it's going to fade. Oh yeah, of course, I forgot to actually set an opacity. Ah dear. Let's try that again. Absent. Set it at 10. Okay, let's see if this works better then. So I'll just do one Crusader Strike. But then no more. Right, okay. So it makes a little sound when it fades there. Okay, a couple of things just to finish off. First of all, I'm going to look at the Libram Vindication again, my trinket proc. But first of all, we can see I'm out of combat. This bar is still showing. That was just something I neglected to do, but it just shows you can have things showing in combat if you like. So I'm going to click on group because I actually don't want them showing out of combat. So only showing combat. Click on that. Now with the Libram Vindication, so at the moment, of course, I had this notification set up on an opacity decrease. So it's warning me. But let's say, in actual fact, I wanted, I thought it was more useful, instead of telling me when it fades, because the whole point is that it doesn't fade at all, what I actually want it to do is to let me know when it's about to fade. So we're going to say with the duration less than, should we say 3 seconds, it just gives me a little bit of a warning that I need to do something to maintain that buff, because I maintain that buff with an ability called Crusader Strike on my target. Now of course I think it was this one we were using as the sound file. So let's have a look at this now. Again, I'll just let it fade. Oh, hold on. Right, okay, so it's giving me a little warning there just a few seconds before. Now, the other thing, the last thing just to note is, of course, I'd clicked on show timer text with all these. The reason it's not working, I've eventually had a little look at it. And this is what happens. Actually, it'd be probably more suitable on something where I actually put show timer text. What we can see here is Tell Me When is actually quite useful. It explains a lot of things for you. So show timer text says here, check this option to display a textual display of the remaining cooldown duration on the icon. And I'm thinking, oh my god, but it's not showing. For this to work, you either need an add-on like OmniCC installed, I don't, or you need to enable the Blizzard's timer text in the interface options under the action bars category. So hooray. So that's what we need to do. That's what I've neglected to do. So interface, action bars, show numbers for cooldowns, click OK, return to game. Huzzah, we've got timers showing. Wonderful. There we go. And just one last, that should hold you for anyone who's looking at this just for general use. I'm just going to mention one more thing specifically for Retribution Paladins. And that is that in actual fact, we should probably not have our spender shown. We're going to put a little conditional in here. So we only want it when a particular debuff is present. And what we're going to check is not the player, but the target. And the debuff to check is Judgment. Only cast by me. And the duration has to be greater than 0 seconds. So let's have a look if this is going to work. May also be useful for others wanting to do this now. I'm just going to keep this here. I'm not going to spend it. I just want to see if it disappears when the judgment window fades. Right. Let's just try it again. So it's still there. We've got the holy power for it. This is the window showing. As soon as it disappears, that's disappearing. So that's great. So that's doing exactly what we want it to do. Sorry about the rubber ducky noises. Okay. So hopefully that's been helpful to you. If it has, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you have any specific questions, of course, ask them down there. I might always, at some point in the future, do an updated version of this if we get lots and lots of questions. There's lots of things I missed out that it can also do. Because there's a lot of things it can do. It's worth experimenting, playing around with it. There'll be other videos I'll be doing on add-ons as we lead into the run-up to Legion. But this was quite an important one to get out simply because a lot of people were asking about it. So I hope you found it useful, as I say, and until next time, I'll see you later.